Hi guys, today we're going to be doing a review of the Spyderco Tenacious. I'd just like to apologize right off the bat because it is a little bit windy out, so the wind chimes will be chiming, and I'm still sick, so I mean, yeah, so my voice is weird or starts getting weird in between talking, yeah. Okay, Spyderco Tenacious, oh, screwed up on that one. The model number of this knife is C122GB-BKPS. This knife is made in China. We have an overall length of 7.76 inches or 197 millimeters. We have a blade length of 3.39 inches, which is, I'm pretty dang sure that says 96 millimeters. I wrote this down, and sometimes I write a little bit messy. Sometimes my 8s get a little close to the other side of it and it looks like a line, so I'm pretty sure that says 96 though. That length is also the same as the cutting edge, so we have a 3.39 inch cutting edge. Blade thickness is 0.118 inches or 3 millimeters. Blade material on this knife is 8CR13 MOV. Blade style is, it's like basically a leaf shape or drop point style. We have a flat grind on this knife. Blade finish is black. We have combo edge, and we'll get into like edges a little bit later on when we're talking about the review. But yeah. Handle length is 4.45 inches or 113 millimeters. Handle thickness is 0.47 inches, and the scales are G10. Handle color, the scales are black. Frame and liner material are stainless steel. The weight on this knife is 4.1 ounces or 117 grams. Basically, this is set up for either the left or right hand user. The pocket clip is 4-way reversible. You could put it tip up, tip down, left or right hand carry. So it's pretty much, yeah, pretty much all carry options. Yeah. It also has a lanyard hole too if you want to go totally without the pocket clip, or even just leave the pocket clip on and just have something a little bit more purchase on the knife, something to grab. Lock type, liner lock, and our opener is the thumb hole. So we have skeletonized liners inside the knife, so we could actually cut down on some weight. You can see right there all those holes. They're cut in to make the knife weigh a little bit less. The knife will weigh more if that wasn't there, so that's a nice accommodation. What's nice about this knife is that it has a lot of options. So not only do you could get different size options if you want to get something similar to this through the whole like Tenacious family. You can get something with a big blade and a bigger handle, all the way to a small blade and a small handle, something like this big. And that's just with this family. It's basically all going to reflect the same sort of characteristics for the most part, because they're all going to have the same materials, but just different size to accommodate what you want, your preferences, your needs, your local laws and regulations. But as far as this Tenacious, there are still quite a few options. You have your option to either get a black or a silver, or your satin silver blade, so your uncoated blade. So you get your color option for your blade. You could get either plain edge, which I don't have, I have the combo. You could get your combo edge, or there's also a fully serrated version of this knife. And also, in terms of G10, you also have plenty of options too from the factory. So obviously black is going to be the standard. There has recently been some brown ones and some green ones coming out. So brown is the newest one, if I am correct. Green, there's also green G10 out there. There's also, maybe if you could find it on Amazon, eBay, or Blade HQ, if they still have them, they have some old blue ones. It said it was a sprint run, but I don't know, because they still have them. But yeah, blue G10. So pretty much, if you want options, there are some options right there from the factory. And also, because this is a common knife, it's pretty budget. It's a budget knife, and pretty much there's a lot of them out there, a lot of owners. There are different parts that you could do. You could go on eBay and get like back spacers, glow in the dark ones. You could get scales. You could get a whole bunch of different things there, from G10, glow in the dark, or wood scales. You got a lot of options if you want to customize your knife. Price range on this knife, the price range is anywhere between like $38 all the way up to $70. So your MSRP is $70. The lowest price that I had found was $37.73 on Amazon, and Knife Center and Blade HQ have this knife for $44.95. That's the price I paid. I had got this from Blade HQ like I think 2 years ago. So yeah, the Amazon rating on this knife is 4.7 out of 5. Many people commented positively on the quality of the knife, especially for being a budget knife. Others have also commented on this being a great EDC knife, and how the knife has a solid build. Some of the cons that people didn't like were that the knife was made in China, and one person said that the screws stripped easily. I haven't had this experience, but I mean, for the most part, I don't know, I haven't had that experience, to be honest with you, and I messed around with it a little bit, and I don't know what's going on there. But that was only one person, and you could read and listen to countless reviews of people saying that theirs is perfectly fine. So that was the first of me ever hearing anything wrong with the screws or something like that. Now, for my experiences, I mainly use this for EDC and like food prep. So this thing went right through like cut steak and other food, chicken and the sort, no problem. It is 8CR13V. It's gonna dull rather quickly. So yeah, be mindful of that if you're thinking about getting this one. It will dull out pretty quicker than other more higher end steels. You can sharpen this thing up fairly easily though. But yeah, one thing that you could do if you wanted to, like, say you wanted to have this knife as a defensive knife, or like as just want to have fun just doing it, you like Emerson's, or you like the Kirchhoff Emerson collaboration, or you just want your knife to deploy easily or faster or even more reliably sometimes, you can throw a zip tie on it, and it's called the poor man's wave, where basically you just put the zip tie on there, you put this up against the seam of your pocket, and when you draw it, it catches on the lip of your pocket and it automatically deploys your knife. So when you pull it, and you're pulling it like that, by the time it's out, it's already open, then you could just use it to cut. So I mean, that's pretty cool. And like, if you want it for defenses, I'm pretty sure you could get pretty handy with that. Have a whole bunch of different techniques, like reverse draw, having a draw in a reverse grip, and do some crazy stuff. But yeah, liner lock, haven't had any problems with the liner lock. It's always been smooth. Action on this knife in terms of usage is still pretty smooth. Coating has held up very well. Even when this thing was like sort of in direct flames, the coating didn't mess up. The coating on mine just dulled slightly near the front where it was getting most of its usage. So yeah, but you're not. I haven't noticed any actual nicks or scrapes or missing patches of the coating. And so I mean, for aesthetics, if you want your knife to look nice over time, I haven't seen any problems with this, and I've used this on wood, cardboard, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So overall, it's doing pretty well, and it's been hitting bones when I'm cutting meat for food prep. So yeah, so I don't think that the coating is going to come off really easily. There's only a couple nicks on. I don't even know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. And that's from me dropping it on the ground and hitting cement or something like that. And it's still doing fine right there. G10, it's fairly grippy. It provides decent traction. Over time, it does get a little bit slick, but I've had no problems with it. It hasn't like rubbed my pants or whatever I was wearing to the point of it shredding or anything like that. It's just held up, and it's been overall, it's just been comfortable in the hand, and it hasn't ruined any clothing. So I mean, you don't need to worry about that. Also, the tension underneath the pocket clip where it contacts the G10, it's not like Recon 1 tension where it's just like as if someone screwed a vise on the thing. It slides on and off very easily, so you can get it on and off, and like you could even do this with your pinky, lift it up, so it's not, it'll retain the knife, but it's also not going to harm your clothing in the process. One negative thing is that this knife is very wide. I would have to say that's probably at least 1.5 inches wide at its widest point while it's in your pocket. Now, if you stick your hand in your pocket to get, say, some change out, because you need to put some in the parking meter, that can probably get annoying, and you might rub your hand up against it. It might irritate your hand or scratch your hand or whatever, or just in general be uncomfortable when you're using when you're pocket carrying this thing. So that's one thing to be mindful. You might have to just take your knife out, close, and then like get where you're gonna get. It can be a little bit annoying and weird when you're at the counter, when you're at the purchasing counter doing that. But I mean, I've never had any problems when I did that with this thing, because like literally, I mean, it stays closed. You don't tell the person, hey, look at my knife. You don't do that, because then you're gonna freak them out. But yeah. Mainly just go like that, pull out whatever you need to do, and just put it back in. If it irritates you, I carry a lot of stuff. So like the little lighter that's in my 5th pocket, little watch pocket, that thing like sort of like limits like the ease and like comfortability of reaching my hand in my pocket. So the knife, taking the knife out of the pocket makes it a little bit easier. I've never had a well, if I'm not mistaken, I remember that it came tipped down for right hand, and I switched it for tip up, and yeah, so the screws didn't get messed up on that, and it easily switched over. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty dang sure I remember there was some blue Loctite on the threads, so that's going on. It hasn't gotten loose or anything like that. I just screwed it down, and it's been perfectly fine ever since. Over time, the blade centering has moved over to the show side, the side with the Spyderco logo. So I mean, it's not that important to me if it's really riding on the liner. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's getting used, it's doing what it needs to do, so who cares? And it's not even damaging the finish, so it doesn't matter to me. But for some people, it might matter. Over time, it might move over. Yeah, so cutting performance is pretty dang good. I mean, I didn't have no trouble with it, and of course, like I said, it is softer steel, so it is going to get dull quicker. But yeah, jimping is very functional. You got some nice aggressive jimping on this thumb ramp right here, and it provides good purchase. And along with this finger choil right here, your hand just locks in nice and solid to do some very good aggressive cutting. Whatever you need to do, you need to get on some double wall cardboard, you could do it with this. Your hand's gonna lock right in, even if your hands are wet. Your hand's gonna be secure, like there's glue on this thing. I didn't notice any hot spots or anything like that. Over time, the I don't know if we could see this. Yeah, the finish on the pocket clip has worn a little bit, but overall it's still not even super shiny. You could just see that it's sort of gray. There is no real reflectiveness coming off it as if it was like, say, a satin pocket clip. Pocket clip's painted, so it is a little bit glossy, but other than that, there's still no problems with it. I've never used the lanyard, but it is a little bit rather small, so you might want to put gutted paracord through there. You could probably fit ungutted paracord in there. It might take a little bit, use something to poke it through, but overall, I'm pretty sure that ungutted paracord, gutted paracord would be the easiest. Thumb hole opener is very good. So if you're using it's pretty much good for anyone. So you have many options, whether you want to do this poor man's wave, or or if you're wearing gloves, this works nice. You got a giant opening hole right here. See, this zip tie sort of screws up your purchase. So if you really want to do it as your primary thing, as your primary opening deployment, it sort of like messes with it right there, because it's a little bit, well, at least for mine, it's a little bit slick right there, because that's just the plastic portion. But when you're if you didn't have it on there, you're using gloves, what's good is because the pad of your thumb will go in there, and the glove too. When you put your pressure down on it, it'll go through, and you'll just ease it along. You'll just open it. So it's a great one hand deployment, regardless of what you're wearing. If you're wearing gloves, you could do it. If your hands are wet, you could do it. If you're only one-handed, you could do it. So whatever it is, you can open this knife, whether it be from the left-handed side or the right-handed side, whether wearing gloves. So pretty much for all conditions, or whenever you need to use it, you could access and deploy this knife. So that's what's really nice about the Spyderco opening hole. And yeah, this thing runs on phosphorus bronze bushings. In terms of corrosion resistance, I haven't seen any corrosion, to be honest with you. I do the same thing, like after I'm like carrying them, I take them with me, like in the bathroom when I'm taking a shower. I take hot showers, so it gets pretty steamy in there, and like moisture just gets on everything, like a blanket of like moisture, whatever you want to call it, fog, mist. That just gets on everything, and I haven't had any problems with this knife in terms of like rust or surface rust or anything like that developing. So overall, it's doing pretty good, and you don't have to, you shouldn't have to worry about that, even if you live in, like, say, a coastal environment. And if you really are worried about that, then you could get the coated version, and then you'll be even more protected from the elements in terms of rust. Okay, guys, I want to thank you. That's pretty much everything I got to say right now, and my throat's itching me a little bit. I need to go get something to drink. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns on this knife, please leave them in the comment section. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, thank you for watching the video, and have a good night or day. Hi guys, sorry I forgot to add, if you want to get, like, say, I don't know, like alternatives or something similar to the Tenacious, if you already have it, or you want something similar because you like the design and the price point and the quality, but you don't want something this wide, another good contender from Spyderco, which would be $20 more, would be the Delica. It's slimmer in terms of width in the pocket. You got a better blade steel. It's a little bit smaller blade, if I'm not mistaken. I think the blade's about 3 inches, and you get a. For some people, this might be a negative. It's a FRN handle, which is a plastic handle, but it's still very tough. And to be honest with you, I've never seen anyone like really break a FRN handle. They're very tough. I mean, you may think plastic's cheap, but it'll take a beating. And you have your choice of colors, so but you could get orange, yellow, I mean, like green, brown, purple, gray, blue, black. So you have all those different options if you want to go through the Delica 4, which is approximately about $60. One from Kershaw would be the Kershaw Skyline, and this thing is it's a nice budget knife. It's It's about 40 to 50 bucks on average, and so basically in the same price range as this. You could get it for $41.91 on Amazon, so it's a little, it might be a little bit cheaper than this knife for the most part. But one advantage it has is it's super thin compared to the Tenacious. Like, look how skinny that is. That's like a whole like 3/8 of it, like I don't know, I'm not good with measurements, but that's a fair amount, at least a 1/4 inch wider, even including just this, in terms of like overall dimensions. The Tenacious is going to be bigger by about like a 1/4 inch overall, like maybe about an 1/8 inch for the blade and like an 1/8 inch for the handle. But this got a good steel too. It's 14C28 and Sandvik. Very nice, and it's US made, great quality, good company, good warranty. Just like Spyderco, Kershaw's very good, and you could get replacement parts for it, like screws and pocket clips and pocket clip screws, and your pivot assembly. So mainly that, and they got a great warranty. They'll take care of you. There's also other knives out there too. I mean, if you wanted something and go along the lines with like if you want to go along the lines of another flipper, you could get a Buck Vantage, and those things are pretty cool too. I have a Buck Vantage Avid, and same price range, 420HC steel, and no, that's not 420HC, that's 13C26 actually, and yeah, so and that's a Boss heat treat, so it's really that steel's pretty good. And like overall I like mine, and it's also a good contender for your money if you want something similar to this and you're in the market for a knife. So that's going to be something you might want to take a look at too. Alright guys, thank you for stopping by again. Have a good one.